So I just wanted to ask a question. I know one of the things that Paul says multiple times in the epistles that he's a slave to Christ. So it kind of seems that Christianity, it's individualist in the sense of focusing on individual salvation, but Christianity is not freedom in the sense of libertine freedom. So how is the idea of servitude in a sense slavery to Christ willingly? How does that play into libertarian the Christian understanding of libertarianism?
Yeah, I actually get that question a lot because a lot of people misunderstand libertarianism and libertinism and the idea that we can just be wild and free and marry our sisters, but we're not going to do that. So, Doug, would you mind starting us off and answering that? Would that be possible? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think I heard also that you want to deal with the self-ownership piece. Like, what does it mean to be a slave to Christ and in the respect to self-ownership? Is that also what you were asking? Yeah. So the way I would answer that in some ways is like when we talk about self-ownership, that has to do in relationship with other people. So it's not a statement of I own myself and God doesn't own me. It's who do I place my authority under? And you're not my authority. Norman is only my authority because he's my boss. But I entered into that. So, but God is the ultimate authority, and God owns me in that sort of way. But in some ways, I feel like that's a category error. It's like it's not quite the same as the property ownership argument that was made by Locke and some of those people.
Norman, would you mind adding into that as well?
Yeah. So one kind of funny little corollary to this is that we sometimes talk about how, self-ownership makes sense when we talk about human to other human. But what you literally just said, which sometimes is underappreciated even by us Christian libertarians at times, is you said slavery to Christ, who we also say was fully man. So what do we mean by that? So I think there's something really to be said for that what Paul is describing with slavery in that instance is not the sense of some type of actual like property. He's not declaring a property right in the sense in the sense of kind of, we'll call it the Kinsellian construction of rights, if you're familiar with Stephen Kinsella's work in particular. But it's more about it is more about how we make a choice to allow God to have his authority over us, that we take his authority as being supreme no matter what. And the best, and perhaps maybe it is the best analogy that at the time of that writing we could come up with would have been the term of slavery. And so I think that's kind of interesting. I want to kind of throw that little bit of nuance in there because I think it's important to just realize that, despite the fact that we are libertarians and we do not accept that just any human has the right to just do whatever over us, that we still submit to God.